Hey, I'm Wolf from Barefoot Bushcraft. I want to thank you so much for tuning into this video. Today we are going to talk about a very cool Amazon find, and that is the Ottoza leather sheath. So the Ottoza company is out of Istanbul, according to some internet sources, and they have exclusively a store on Amazon, and they don't seem to sell anywhere else. I took a look around, and I couldn't seem to find any of their knives or cases in other places around the internet other than Amazon. So it's a very bulky, big, huge case. If you like rustic, it's a really great case. They are made from top grain leather. Again, that's not full grain leather. Top grain leather means they have taken the top grain of the leather and made it into a case. So they've taken the thickness of the leather and they split it down a little bit. But it's a great sheath. You know, it was only $40, and I suppose that was what the selling point. I could have very easily talked to a local leathersmith and given them either photos or a picture or specs and said, hey, can you make me this? Because I want it for, you know, one of my big knives, the BK2 by K-Bar, and they would have said, sure, no problem. But look at the quality of this thing, and of course the smell. Love that new leather smell. There's no way we could have, even in Canada, we couldn't have even bought the leather for the sheath for the cost of the sheath. So let's take a closer look at the product and so some of the features and things that are good, and, you know, things that could be a little better. So this is the general Bushcraft belt that I wear with the shoulder sash and all that. You can see by all the fittings and stuff that this belt is quite old. Again, I got it online at you know, like some kind of like a Facebook Marketplace like thing. It's a World War II officer's belt, so it's like 70, 80 years old. It's in really great shape, and it works really, really nicely for the purposes that I want. It has that antique look because, obviously, it's antique. So I wanted a knife case rather than the modern Kydex case that comes with the K-Bar BK2. I wanted something a little more old-fashioned. So there it is. So that kind of is not the same color by any means, but it's a very similar color to the original belt. So that's one of the reasons that I got it. So this here is the Ottoza sheath. It kind of dwarfs my BK2, and the BK2, don't kid yourself, man. It is a big beefy blade, right? Like, it's a big blade for a sheath. So the first thing you need to know is these sheaths are not designed specifically for your blade. They are a generic sheath. So like I say, the quality is really good. You can see it's a nice quality leather in there. It's not full grain, but it's top grain, so you can't really complain about that. The only Amazon complaint that I have seen repeatedly on this is that this part right there, that little snap, will sometimes fail over time, I guess. But I mean, if you're hard on it, it's all going to fail, I guess. It has some features that I did like that attracted me to it. First of all, it has that rugged leather. It is almost, as I had said, the same color or similar color to my World War II officer's belt. I like that it has the ferro rod holder. Like, what a great little feature. So my ferro rod goes right in there, so I don't have to keep it in my sheath. So it can make sure that it doesn't get, you know, any water or moisture that gets on it will leave, of course. So I do like that. It's snug. For the ferro rod, so I'm not going to lose it. Very happy with the way that, very thoughtful that they put that in there. So the next thing, of course, it has this sheath and this little pouch. Now again, as I had said before, for a little over 40 Canadian dollars, like, this pouch alone would have probably cost me that much in leather and time if I tried to make it. So I have my usual stuff in there. I've got my ferro rod striker and my Speedy Sharp blade sharpener and a couple of little plastic straws in there. That inside those I keep my stuff for cotton balls, so for fire. So that's pretty cool. So of course the downside to any leather sheath is that leather, when it gets wet and soaked, it's going to take days and days and days to dry. But I mean, that's, you take the good with the bad when you choose whatever case that you want, versus the Kydex case. But I did like I said, I wanted something rugged, I wanted something tough looking, and really, I mean, for the price, you can't really complain. So let's put the BK2, again, this is a very good size blade. I will put the specs of this sheath, like its size and everything like that. I'll put that right on the screen right there, so you can basically take a look at that and see all the specs of it. Again, this company comes out of Istanbul, which is kind of a unique thing. So it fits this. This is kind of a neat feature that it has this little shape there, and that fits the blade of my knife very nicely. But here's the unfortunate part, is if I jiggle it like this, right? I can literally get my finger in there behind the blade itself. So there's a lot of room in there. I could put a knife and a half in this. So And just so you know, the other thing is as well, of course, this is the clasp. This clasp on this knife does nothing. It does nothing. It's just for looks. I guess if I had really wanted it to do something, if I put my blade in the other way, so if I pull it out and turn it around, so we have that little bit of a hilt, I would have to shorten this, either unstitch it and push it in and shorten it, or put a new a snap on it, but right now it does nothing. This, of course, this is the top strap. It works really well. It's nice and snug. I like that. So that way it's going to stop the blade from coming out or losing it in the bush. But so it's a good design that way. It's got a little tiny bit of leather tooling on it. Whoever built it took the time to put some tooling in it. I kind of like that. It gives it a nice little style to it. I'm not sure what those are for, but doesn't really matter, I guess. I don't know, but all in all, a good sheath. And I mean, for $40, like I say, here in Canada, to make a sheath like this, I wouldn't even be able to get the leather for that cost. It fits the ginormous BK2 that I have very, very nicely. And again, it makes it look kind of old-fashioned, rugged, and that's sort of the look that I was going. So again, my only complaint with it is that it's not really designed for every knife, right? So they did the best they could by putting adjustable straps there. So if I had a beefier handle or scales or whatever you would like to call them on there, that it would hold it. It does have the nice belt loop, so my World War II officer's belt fits through there with lots of room to spare, so I'm very happy with that. All in all, a fun purchase. You know, you don't know what you're getting for a reasonable cost. It might be junk, it might be awesome. Turned out this is kind of middle of the road. Yeah, I mean, for a knife that you have to just guess your knife will fit, there was lots of questions in the listing of, you know, will it fit this blade or will it fit that blade? So I took a chance, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. So, you know, standard leather care for something like this, you're going to want to put, you know, like your saddle soap on it once every 6 months if it's exposed to a lot of outside time. I know some guys they use shoe polish on it, if you want to use shoe polish on it, or just the beeswax leather paste just to keep the sheath in good shape. Otherwise, you know, the leather will crack and stuff. But yeah, so far for just basically an out of the box and hang on the belt and walk around with it for a couple of hours in the woods, it's not a bad blade, not a bad purchase. I'm happy with the way that the blade sits in the thing, even though it's a little big. It won't fall out, which is kind of nice because it has this. But I mean, really, what do you want for 40 Canadian dollars? Quick review of the Ottoza handmade leather sheath out of Istanbul. One of the neat things I did forget to mention is that this guy came with literally next day shipping. So I don't know where they come from the Amazon warehouse, but I ordered it at like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and literally by 9 a.m. I woke up and it was sitting out in front of my house. So you can't really complain at that, that you order it and it literally just ships overnight. So again, a reasonably decent quality blade, incredible value for the $40. If you have an extra 40 bucks kicking around on your credit card or whatever and an Amazon account, I would definitely say to go and pick one of these guys up. You know, you can always oil it and leave it if you don't really like it. And I mean, for the cost, you're not going to bet a better blade in a sheath. And if you're really into like modifying leather, you know, I could always repair this. The fact that this is just basically, at this time anyway, it's decorative. I might actually either cut this or put another snap on it and make it so that it will actually, you know, so it will work for me. And there's going to be nothing to putting a snap on if you know how to do it. So that could be something I will consider doing. But other than that, it's a great piece, fun little thing. It's got, like I said, so whoever designed it thought of the modern day North American bushcrafter, because a lot of us like the pouch, and a lot of us like the ferro rod holder. Nice and beefy, and hopefully will last quite a long time. So I'm the Wolfman. I want to thank you very much for tuning into this video. Please consider subscribing.